strategic gains, unbelievable advance. Last night we heard some rumors that Tigray Defense Forces had captured Kobo, Edi Erke and some areas in Afar zone. Since then, I have been working on these rumors. I have tried to dig out facts, what's on ground situation, because of course you cannot share the information which is being shared by both sides. You need to verify the information. I slept very little last night, viewers, and since last night I have been working. I thought that this considerable advance on three fronts at the same time, it was almost impossible. At the Erke was a very difficult front. You know that some international news outlets covered this front. They shared pictures of hundreds of Amhara fighters from this front. There was huge mobilization of Amhara forces on this front. Then in Afar, we saw presence of Ethiopian National Defense Forces, Oromia Special Forces, Afar Special Forces in Afar, and same is the case with Kobo. So I thought it was almost impossible for Tigray Defense Forces to capture the Erke, Kobo, and strategic areas inside Afar. But viewers, unbelievably, Tigray Defense Forces have captured some strategic areas, Edi Erke, Kobo, and strategic areas in Afar are a game changer. This war is going to change now, viewers. I think in coming days, people in Addis Ababa sitting in higher positions will feel the heat of this war. They'll have to think, can we stop Tigray Defense Forces? And Tigray Defense Forces are gradually advancing towards those persons who are in charge in Ethiopia. It's a big statement what I'm making now, but they have now gained ground inside Amhara zone, inside Afar zone. They can advance towards Ethiopian lifeline, the road which connects Ethiopia with Djibouti. They can easily hit airports inside Amhara state. They do have long-range weapons. You cannot carry out airstrikes against them as well. This war is changing, viewers. Now Tigray Defense Forces, they seem to be having an advantage. We could see a change in Ethiopian government's position about this war as well. Ethiopian government first rejected any talks with TPLF. Then it declared TPLF as a terrorist outfit. Then it announced unilateral ceasefire in Tigray, but Tigray was under siege. On all sides, Tigray was locked. But now you see, TDF is saying that your food is our food, your supplies are our supplies, your weapons are our weapons, your houses are our houses. So TDF are capturing their supplies, their weapons, and people are fleeing, forces are fleeing. Message is very clear from TDF that you cannot and you should not try to lock Tigray down. You cannot do that. You sought the help of Eritreans, they had to withdraw. Then you sought the help of all regional forces. And now the regional forces are suffering losses. It's a big message, viewers. I think it's the time, right time, apt time for Ethiopian government that it should start talks. Otherwise, we could see this war spreading further into other regions towards key cities of Ethiopia. Tigray Defense Forces want Western Tigray. If you're not ready to give them Western Tigray, they'll enter Amhara state. They have entered Amhara state. They'll enter Afar state. They have entered Afar state. So had you vacated your positions in Raya in western Tigray and started talks with TPLF, this war could have come to an end. But you laid siege to Tigray and you tried to force TPLF to start talks while being under a siege. They rejected the siege. They launched a counter-offensive. No one could have thought that they would take over, they would take control of Raya. Then after Raya, they have almost built a buffer zone around Raya. You cannot launch any major offensive from any side on Raya. After creating this buffer zone, they are heading into Amhara region. They are heading into Afar region. Options are very limited for Ethiopian government viewers. Ethiopian National Defense Forces, they have suffered losses in Tigray. We have seen that, viewers, that they are not as strong as they were when this war started. They have suffered losses. They are not in a position to launch an all-out offensive against Tigray Defense Forces. Momentum, morale and method on the side of TDF. TDF have outmaneuvered Ethiopian National Defense Forces, Amhara regional forces. TDF have outclassed all regional forces. You cannot just put Tigray under siege and say that talk to us. I think it's the time, right time for Ethiopian government that they should start talks with TPLF. Mediation could also play a role if there are any mediators. But if you had a look at Getachew tweet, which he did just a few minutes ago, his language, his selection of words tells you that TDF, TPLF are in a very strong position. The last word used by Getachew in his tweet was enough. This last word tells that Tigray Liberation Front, Tigray Defense Forces believe that they are in a commanding position, and if there would be any talks, the talks would be according to their terms. And they do have a leverage now because they're in control of areas inside Amhara region, inside Afar region. And their advance is ongoing, as Getachew said, that this advance will go on. So, what I want to say is that this war must come to an end. People are suffering. There was humanitarian disaster in Tigray, now displacements in Afar. Now we will see the same in Amhara as well, viewers. That is why, for the sake of people, for the sake of Ethiopians, Ethiopian government must realize the gravity of this situation and announce talks with TPLF. Almost 12 hours ago, I did a video. I informed you about 3 claims made by TDF supporters. TDF supporters were claiming that Kobo at the RK had been taken by Tigray Defense Forces and Buldia Milli Road had been taken by TDF. Since then, I have been working to verify these claims. In the previous video today, I informed you about Afar front. I informed you that Tigray Defense Forces have captured 4th Woreda, Iva Woreda. But Waldia Mille Road has not been taken by Tigray Defense Forces. Now I have a confirmation about the second claim of TDF about capturing Kobo. We'll talk about Kobo. Then we'll talk about military strategy of Tigray Defense Forces. Tigray Defense Forces have created a sort of buffer zone around Raya. And I don't think that now Ethiopian National Defense Forces and Amhara Regional Forces are in a position to launch a major offensive on Raya, on Alamata, Koram, these areas. I'll show you on map this buffer zone. Firstly, here's Kobo. Kobo town has not been taken by Tigray Defense Forces. I have confirmed from several sources. Tigray Defense Forces are not inside Kobo town. Tigray Defense Forces are positioned on Zobil. Zobil is a high place to the east of Kobo town. There is presence of Tigray Defense Forces in Zobil, mountainous areas of Zobil, but Tigray Defense Forces have not captured Kobo. I can confirm that. Secondly, viewers, some arrests have been made by local government in Kobo. Government officials are claiming that some TPLF informers have been arrested inside Kobo town. The informers were in touch with Tigray Defense Forces. At least 5 arrests have been made in Kobo so far. Now viewers, I am working on third claim as well. Third claim was about Edi Arke. That Edi Arke has been taken by Tigray Defense Forces. Now I have informed you about a far front and Kobo. I'll try to update you about Edi Arke as well in coming hours. Now viewers, buffer zone created by Tigray Defense Forces around Raya. When Tigray Defense Forces took control of Alamata and first Koram, then Alamata, and then they started spreading in eastern, western and southern directions. Back then I had said that TDF wanted to establish a buffer zone around Raya. TDF, it seems that Tigray Defense Forces have succeeded in creating a partial buffer zone around Raya. I'll show you on the map as well. Now it seems that Tigray Defense Forces have secured Raya. Ethiopian National Defense Forces, Amhara Regional Forces, they are not in a position to launch a major offensive on Raya, on Alamata, on Koram from any side. On all sides, Tigray Defense Forces have secured the areas adjacent to Raya. Have a look at this map, viewers. Firstly, you can see Alamata in blue colored circle on this map. To the north of Alamata, there is Matthew, Hintalu, Vajirat, Koram. These areas have already been taken by Tigray Defense Forces. In fact, they advanced from these areas towards Alamata. So, northern side is secure. Now, to the east of this blue colored circle is a far zone. You can see 4 Waredas inside this semicircle. The semicircle shows zone 4 of a far region. You can see 4 Waredas of a far region, viewers. You can see Yalo Wareda. Secondly, there is Golina. Thirdly, Ora. And fourthly, Eva. Till yesterday, Tigray Defense Forces were in control of 3 Waredas: Yalo, Ora and Golina. But today I have confirmed in a previous video that Tigray Defense Forces have captured the 4th Wareda as well, which is Eva Wareda. So all 4 Waredas situated to the east of Alamata zone have been captured by Tigray Defense Forces. It means eastern side of Raya has also been secured by Tigray Defense Forces. Now look at western side. You can see a Vog Himra zone. There is presence of Tigray Defense Forces in Vog Himra zone. Even Amhara news sources have also confirmed that Tigray Defense Forces moved west from Raya into Amhara state. Fourthly, viewers, southern front, Kobo, Alamata. Here we know that Tigray Defense Forces have their positions on Zobil mountains. They are not inside Kobo or inside Voldia, but they have their presence on high places near Kobo and near Voldia. It means on all sides of Raya, on all sides of Alamata, Koram, there is presence of Tigray Defense Forces. Ethiopian National Defense Forces, Amhara Regional Forces are not in a position to launch any major offensive on Raya. So that is what I mean when I say that Tigray Defense Forces have created a buffer zone around Raya. They have now literally created this buffer zone that on all sides they are in control of areas adjacent to Raya zone. So not only are they getting supplies from these adjacent areas of Afar and Amhara regions, but they have succeeded in creating this buffer zone which have secured Raya zone for Tigray Defense Forces. Thanks for watching. Defense forces have made some strategic